Why are the movies that are not Marvel movies often fail? It's for one simple reason, according to me. Everybody in the cinematic universe that is related to any comic books, mostly they go for a different approach. And that's when it fails. It's not limited to only the cinematic universes. It's also there in the video game universes. When somebody takes a slightly different approach and wants to appeal to a slightly unorthodox audiences, they forget that the main customers of theirs are actually the nerds who like traditional comic books and the storylines. Now, I'm not saying that we should not do anything different. Yes, obviously, this is what the story is all about. What we forget as movie makers are a simple fact that the approach Marvel took was actually the traditional approach. Means they first introduced the character in a very serious and very traditional way, in a very orthodox way, and then they did something different with it. They need to understand that it's very important for the people who are watching the cinematic universes or the cinema, comic book cinema. They need a certain introduction. They do need some introduction to the superheroes and their persona. Then they could handle a slightly different storyline if that happens. One more thing is very important that mostly people that who are in the suit and they're trying to make a decision regarding a comic book movie and what the fans would or would not like is actually the simple fact. A simple fact that they forget, I don't know what happens, they forget to introduce a good villain. You see any good movies, especially Marvel, even the good Marvel movies, they lack a good villain. DC EU or DC Comics, they have very good villains and very wonderful and very should we say tight type of villains that keep the storyline tight, like Lex Luthor, or should we say the Joker. When a good villain is done justice with his character, it turns up like Joker from the Dark Knight. And when a very good villain, a very wonderful villain like Lex Luthor is done wrong, it ends up like like the Batman versus Superman version of Joker. Actually, it's not Joker, it's Lex Luthor, but he acts like a Joker. I don't know why. Anyways, they need to understand a very simple fact that good villains are what is needed. Superheroes are good, they need a good introduction movie, but at the same time they also need a good villain to be introduced maybe in the second or third sequel. After that they can go back to the traditional hero adventures. But that's not the case. They focus solely on the heroes rather than the villains. They try to make the fool out of people by introducing some lame aspects regarding the story in the comic books. They think that the people won't be able to understand by their, for example, in Civil War, why they're fighting. Now, the success of the Marvel Civil War clearly states that we need a good storyline, and movies can succeed if the storyline is tight. Even if there is a very weak villain, there was a very weak villain in Marvel Civil War, and still the movie succeeded for a very simple reason. that they introduce all those characters previously to the Avengers persona. That's the only reason I think that's what comic cinematic universes need. Both Marvel and DC. Now I remember playing a game that was there, I think in 2003 or 2004, I think. That was Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man on Sony PlayStation. I remember playing that game on an emulator in my computer. The final villain in that game was Carnage, actually, and Carnage is covered Dr. Octavius. So he became Monster Octavius, a hybrid between an octopus and Carnage. Now Carnage is an excellent villain, but at the same time, the Doc Ock's persona and intelligence gave him an edge. Madness with intelligence is a dangerous combination, and that's what led to that game being a huge success. Just what happened with the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions on PlayStation 3. Exactly opposite. They introduced Mysterio in a very, very weak way. There was no storyline. All the focus was only on the gameplay. Now I accept that the gameplay was really good, but at the same time, the story was really, really bad. There was no story whatsoever. There were just a couple of movie cutscenes that were distributed after every level. That's why it failed. If you tell us a good story, I as a fan of comic book would understand. If you tell us a good story, I will go and purchase the game like Evil Within. I'm waiting for the game and I've already ordered it. I seldom purchase game this costly. For the story only, I purchased the only PlayStation 4 for Uncharted. I really like the story. If you tell us a good story, is people with suits, we will purchase it. But don't think that we are absolutely stupid. Don't think that we want a lame-ass story and play it just because you have made a gameplay good. Now, what happened with Uncharted Lost Legacy? You completely destroyed the character of Nathan Drake and brought out two good characters from the Uncharted universe, but that had not been the center of the universe in Uncharted. You brought out those two females, and then you made Nathan Drake's brother, Sam Drake, look like an absolute stupid man. He comes out exactly opposite to his persona on the Uncharted 4, and acts like an absolute flirty man who flirts a lot with the women. Women power. That's when everything, goes to hell. Everybody, I think, who is there in my channel would have heard about my rant on Ghostbusters movie. The same thing happened with the Ghostbusters movie. They did the gender switch, and oh my god, the movie tanked. And it made me so happy that the movie tanked. Why did it tank? Because they tried to do the gender switch. They refused to accept their mistakes, phony special effects, lose a storyline, and they tried to treat the fans like crap when they started a backlash on if you're not watching this movie, then you're a sexist, you're a misogynist, you are a terrible human being, you are a sexist man-child. Now, an angry video game nerd, who is one of the most favorite persons of mine in terms of movie critique and video games critique, he tried to justify a reason that he is not going to watch this movie for one specific reason. No, he never once criticized the movie. He never once condemned the movie. He only said that he is not going to watch it. What happened after that was a huge backlash, calling him a basement residing man child that doesn't know that is lonely and does not have any girlfriend. I mean, give me a break, Sony. The same thing would happen with I don't know why they are doing this. I don't know why. I hope that they would come to their senses. Oh God, what should I do? I miss good story games like Silent Hill, like Uncharted, like Splinter Cell. Now what games are coming? Horizon Zero Dawn. And what else is coming? Uncharted Lost Legacy. What else is coming? Ghostbusters game. Oh my God, don't even remind me of it. That was, oh my God, that was terrible. Oh my God, that was terrible. Anyways, the purpose of making this video actually is a simple thought process that I was going through this morning. Like, why are some movies succeeding and others are simply tanking despite such a big budget associated with it? It was one simple reason, that they are forgetting good storylines, they are forgetting tight storylines, they are ignoring good special effects, and mostly they are processing the film looks like unfinished, especially the DC new movies. Just look at the special effects of Batman vs Superman. It looks terrible. Let's be frank, it looks terrible. Especially when Batman and Superman fight for the first time. It clearly looks like they are CG. No, I'm not against CG, but I think that the practical effects and the CG should be mixed together to create a more realistic effect. And creative difference is very critical thing. I think the comic book people who are well conversant with the comic book storylines should have creative freedom. Not the man in the suits that are providing money. They don't know what a comic book is and they have never read it. So how can they make a good storyline? Provide us with good movies, Sony and Marvel and Warner Brothers and DC. We will watch it. We are ready to spend our money. Don't disappoint us with the people with the things like Suicide Squad. Don't disappoint us with Batman vs Superman or Ghostbusters. Provide us with a good storyline, both in video games and in cinematic universes. That's all what I wanted to say. That was my thought process. I hope you all have enjoyed my thought process and have had the patience of listening to me. We'll see you all in the next video. Hopefully. Have a good day.